Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. Time is but a window, and today we're going to be analyzing one of the most dominant games on Dust2 in all history at a major. The player we're going to be watching is Dev1ce because he is the team's sniper, and of course, as you guys know, I am a sniper. So obviously here he's making his way over here towards long on pistol round after both of his teammates have gone down because he needs to cover it and make sure no one attacks him from that area. Keep in mind that the communication and coordination at this level is going to be a little bit different than your typical matchmaker experience, which means that due to his teammates' callouts, he has a pretty good idea of where the final two terrorist locations are. Now here you can see as the final terrorist makes his way up, he's just jiggle peeking out. He'll jiggle peek a lot throughout this game, and only when his teammate has actually committed to the fight against that terrorist, he peeks out and shoots him in the back, fully committing to it. On the next round, he does buy up an M4. I imagine this is probably because of the long angles on this map. Now, I feel a lot of us older players that have played previous versions of Counter-Strike have some pretty bad habits in this game, and Dev1ce was actually one of those players that came over from a previous version of Counter-Strike. Now, while Dev1ce isn't immune to this by any means and still has a few flaws in his games brought from previous versions of Counter-Strike, you can see that he knows what he's doing here, and he's holding a very passive angle. Even after getting that first pick, he's hesitant to re-peek until his teammate comes up with him. These are the small things that Fawn and I have been working on trying to relearn this game and play it properly. I will be referring to it as the new style, even though this game has been around forever at this point. After a while, he does move into a more aggressive positioning to pick off the final terrorist, but look at where his teammate is and able to get that trade kill in case the terrorist does decide to push forward. On the next round, they change up their setup and actually have him play middle with his teammate. His teammate's a bit more aggressive, trying to get a little bit more information, and picks, meanwhile, he's kind of holding back and just holding this left side to make sure his teammate doesn't get screwed. Notice how he's always in a different location. This is something that's actually really hard to do in Matchmaker when players get so easily confused. Now, this is just to get a pick in lower B tunnels, and it doesn't pay off for him, but his teammates still managed to win the round. So now we're going to be able to watch some more traditional sniping from long. He's over here by car, and he's watching towards mid because of a call out from his teammate. His teammate moves over towards mid and he diverts his focus towards catwalk. Okay, so he misses the shot and he gets flashed a bunch, then he starts jiggle peeking that left side only for information but not to shoot. Once he spots the terrorist, then he goes for the perfect peek. Now notice on those final two kills that he doesn't peek out of the same spot he just peeked from because he knows the terrorist is going to be watching that location. Instead, he jumps up on the box to make sure that that first terrorist has to flick over to him. So here you can see Catwalk once again becomes compromised, and he goes and jumps up on the box to get that first pick. He knows he's being pinched from the left because his teammate just went down. Now, what he did make a mistake on, though, is doing the re-peek. This is CSGO, and re-peeks rarely pay off in this game. Instead, he should have fallen back to a little bit more passive angle and forced the terrorist to peek out on him. Because after all, if he holds back passively, him and his teammate have a crossfire here at long, and if he tries to fall back to CT spawn, the other two CTs will cut him off. On the next round, he has the fastest possible spawn for long, so he takes it to see if he can get the pick with the AWP. Notice that since long is compromised, he doesn't commit to holding the smoke angle, even though he's got an AWP. If they peek that smoke right, they can actually see him and he'll have a hard time spotting them. Instead, he holds a passive angle, making sure they can't get over to stairs from inside sight. This is called new style. Now, he does peek out, and I believe that's because he knows he has the range advantage given their situation with guns. The main goal with this is to get information to understand where the terrorists are going. He peeks out once again, looking for information to see if the terrorist is in pit or pushing up on him or not there at all. So now after his teammate has picked the one guy over at long, and he pretty much checked it to make sure there was no one else there, he knows he's got a couple seconds before anyone has any time to work their way up long, and he focuses his attention towards catwalk. Now keep in mind, even if someone did work their way up long, his teammate was in CT spawn and would have caught them way before he could come up close to him. Here Astralis does a crazy 4-man stack at long. Here's another interesting setup. As you can see, his teammate is boosted there in CT spawn, but looking towards him, this is actually because he's just listening for catwalk right now. If someone does come out middle, Dev1ce is supposed to spot him and then he'll help. But instead his teammate hears a bunch of stuff going up catwalk and Dev1ce changes his focus to watching cat. But there's a twist. The catwalk was only a fake and they actually make their way over towards B. He's holding back and watching for the cross to see if he can pick someone crossing into sight. If it's not smoked off, there's a really high probability a sniper can pick that shot. Now since they are in a 3v2 retake, instead of going with the AWP, he actually drops it down for an AK so he can retake with his 5 teammates. Keep in mind, he didn't do anything wrong. Stewie's just fucking insane. Now notice here at long, they have the same smoke out that they had before where he was picking from lower. But now that he's picking from sight, he doesn't have to worry about the gap on the bottom part of the smoke and he can actually hold it. Now here he has one teammate focused on long, while one teammate focuses on cat, and he's assisting whoever makes contact. Now for some reason, either he decides or his teammates decide that he should get some information, so he peeks out, he doesn't take a shot, and immediately falls back instead. That's a big difference between him and me, is that when I jumped on that ledge, if I saw that many guys, I would have gone for the shot. In this game, it really caters to people that play slippery. In fact, that's the biggest problem with this second kill, is he didn't play in a fallback spot and just went for a skill shot. In CSGO, even the AWP has a random cone of accuracy, so you can't rely on your shot 100% of the time. But look at his kills right now, it's no wonder that he's starting to become overconfident. Here he goes for a quick repeat, knowing that the terrorist is low on health, and even though he doesn't need to secure the site and keep them from planning, it would be nice to keep them from getting that money. Now in my opinion, while this setup is pretty good at first, leaving that M4 over by long and him watching cat from over here, when they actually fall back the guy off of long and he takes control of long from car, I think this is a horrible situation. Basically, he just does whatever he can, pressing AD, 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 while trying to hit some crazy AWP shots and is able to take down one. In all honesty, I think if this round were played out over and over again, I think this would have only won 1 in 10 times. MIBR, by all rights, should have had this round. So on this round, Dev1ce is watching cat, but it doesn't really matter because Glaive takes out 4 of them at long. On this round, he finds himself in a bad situation as he gets pinched from long and from sight. I think he should have tried to quickly make his way into sight behind the boxes so he could only be seen from one angle and not have to worry about both. In my opinion, this is an example of him playing too overconfidently because he's got a ton of kills and his team is destroying the other team. Remember, this is CSGO and you don't want to rely on skill alone unless you absolutely have to. But I know what you guys are thinking. They could have probably naded him off of sight once he was in sight, but you want to make them force that utility if they have that utility. And second of all, he doesn't actually have to go into sight. He could actually just watch long from up close to the wall and not have to worry about catwalk. Granted, he could have been flashed off of it, but it was still a better option. Now, I'm sure you guys have all seen me pull off rounds like this, and this is one of my favorite things about playing Dust2, when the other team actually does a full-on catwalk take, and I'm over here by long. Here you can see Dev1ce in a very similar situation, just taking them down. Now here you can see once Dev1ce gets hit down to a lower HP, he falls back to long so he has a safe angle to slip away. If there's one thing I want to drive into everyone's head in this game that's a sniper, is to play slippery. Never commit. For that reason exactly, you never know if a shot's gonna hit with the AWP or any gun in this game. So here we are on the final round of the first half. Once again, we find Dev1ce playing on A ramp watching catwalk. Notice the jiggle peaks, guys. Keep remembering to play slippery. Again, he jiggle peeks. He doesn't commit to the shot, falls back in, and then re-peeks from a different angle. Problem is, at the high levels, with the slow movement speed of the scoped AWP, unless you're doing a duck quick peek, chances are the other person is going to win the fight. So in all honesty, he shouldn't even have gone for that peek in the first place and played a more passive angle that forced the terrorist to peek out on him. But look at his kills and look at the overall score. There's no reason for him not to feel overconfident and go for high-risk plays. I'm just pointing it out because this is an analysis. Now we're just going to wrap this game up with a pistol round of the second half. He doesn't really have to do too much. He's just going out first and baiting off the first shots while his teammates get the trades. If he got a kill, that would have been great, but since he didn't, it's no big deal. His teammate was still able to get the trades, and they were able to capitalize and win the round. Now, I know this video was only the CT side of Dust2, but what can I say? Dev1ce did an incredible job on this map, dropping 24 kills in 15 rounds. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys would like to see some more analysis videos in the future. especially when it comes to snipers, because I love to analyze other snipers. Regardless of what other people might say, when it comes to sniping, this game is so much more than a point-and-click adventure. Have a great day, everyone, and don't forget to subscribe.